Yeah, I done did a lot of things in my day. I admit it, I don't take back what I say. If I said it, then I meant it. All my life I won a Grammy, but I probably never get it.
Bloodlines, Mikey the Hammer, Palermo. Every family's got its ghost, its monster, its guardian angel. For the Palermos, that was Mikey, the Hammer, Frankie's brother, Bambi and Nick's uncle, the man you called when talking stopped working. Back in the 80s, Mikey was a name that could freeze a room. He wasn't the boss, he wasn't the earner, he was the hand of the family, the Hammer. If Frankie said someone had to go, Mikey made it happen. No questions, no hesitation. One swing, one shot, one broken jaw. Permanent solutions. The streets learned quick. When the hammer dropped, the problem stayed buried. Then came the night Frankie got clipped outside that candy store. The Palermo name was left hanging in the wind, and Mikey, he vanished. Some said retired, others said hiding. Truth was, he never left. He just waited, watching from the shadows while his niece and nephew grew into the fire. Brooklyn, early 90s, a young Bambi, barely a teenager, standing in the rain after a fight with a neighbor kid. Nick's nose is bleeding, his fists raw. Mikey steps out to the dark, crouches low and wipes the blood from Nick's face with a hand like sandpaper. He don't smile. He just says, "You protect your own, even if it breaks you." Then he puts a hand on Bambi's shoulder, squeezes hard enough to hurt, and adds, "Don't ever let nobody write the end of your story for you. Palermos swing back." Those words stuck. They became the creed. Now, Brooklyn's heating again. Zintelli's back, Rizzo's making noise, the bureau's circling. And Bambi, she ain't alone. When she walks into a room, Mikey walks in behind her. The years put gray in his hair, but his fists still steel. The old hammer don't rust. Mikey Palermo ain't back for money. He ain't back for glory. He's back for family, for Frankie's memory, for the promise that the Palermo name won't die easy. The hammer's swinging again, and Brooklyn's gonna feel it. Brooklyn Bloodlines, Season 2, coming soon.
Tales from the Pizzaverse, the AC tear-up. The social club was thick with cigar smoke, the kind of haze that sticks to your suit for 3 days. P9 stood at the head of the table, stack of stapled itineraries in hand like he was running a Fortune 500. "Gentlemen, your schedules for Atlantic City." He laid them out one by one. Sessa grabbed his copy, glanced, then busted out laughing. "P9, every slot says raise hell. Breakfast, raise hell. Afternoon, raise hell. Midnight snack, raise hell. You call this a trip or a fucking felony?" P9 straightened his tie. Consistency breeds results. Mikey the Hammer plopped a duffel on the table with a bang. He unzipped it. Brass knuckles, cigars, horseshoe taped to a flask. Willie nearly fell off his chair laughing. "Mikey, that ain't luggage. That's evidence." The door swung open and in strode Anthony Sessa, wrapped in a wolfskin jacket that screamed Philly louder than cheesesteaks at midnight. "Philly don't lose in AC, he smirked, tossing a finger gun at Frank Pecoraro. Frank buttoned his silk shirt and shook his head. "You said that last time, and you lost your Cadillac, your shoes, and your fucking teeth." Sessa spread his arms. "Difference is, Frankie, this time I brought a wolf." Mikey puffed on a cigar. "Hope that thing's house trained. I ain't sitting next to no mangy coat all night." 2 black Escalades idled out front, engines humming like panthers in cages. Impeach claimed shotgun immediately, flask in hand, barking orders. "We move like a convoy, parkway straight down. No pit stops, no detours, no fucking bathroom breaks." Sungrown already had the back seat fogged up, rolling joints the size of baseball bats. "It's medicinal," he said through a grin, exhaling smoke that made Aaron choke. Aaron, laptop open, rattled off odds and probabilities. Blackjack statistically favors the house by... Statistically, you're killing me. Lopez snapped, cranking Sinatra. Fly Me to the Moon filled the car, drowning out math. From the back, Willie raised a Jameson bottle. Gentlemen, Atlantic City ain't ready for this circus. Atlantic City rose from the Jersey shore like a cheap neon mirage. Casinos blinked red and gold, desperate and loud. The Escalades rolled up to the Borgata. Jim Martin stepped out with a guitar case slung over his shoulder. Frank nodded at it. Playing tonight, Jimmy? Jim smirked. Ain't no guitar in here, Frankie. Nobody asked what was. Roulette. Mikey slapped down a mountain of chips on black. The wheels spun, clattering like bones. Ball dropped on green. Green! Mikey roared, slamming the table so hard chips flew like shrapnel. Security swarmed. Impeach stepped forward, flashing a badge nobody had ever heard of. Federal Maritime Gaming Commission, he barked. The guards froze, then nodded. 5 minutes later, instead of getting tossed, they were ushered to the VIP lounge. Aaron muttered to Lopez, "That's not a real department." Lopez smirked. "Neither is half this city." Sessa and Frank slid into a poker table like sharks circling. Chips stacked high, cards slapping down, sweat beading on tourist foreheads. Aaron leaned over whispering counts, his voice sharp and quick. Fold, raise, fold. Sessa grinned wolfishly, raking in chips. Philly eats tonight. The pit boss watched close, suspicion in his eyes. Frankie smoothed him over with a smile that meant an envelope was waiting later. Upstairs, Sungrown turned the VIP bathroom into a fog machine. A couple bouncers went in to throw him out, but 20 minutes later, they stumbled out giggling, eyes redder than brake lights. Willie burst in after, dragging 2 barmaids, shouting, "Shots for the Pizzaverse!" Down in the lounge, some tuxedo clown bet Lopez a grand he wouldn't sing. 10 seconds later, Lopez was on stage, belting Sinatra like he was born in Hoboken. Jim Martin cracked open the guitar case. Inside wasn't a gun, wasn't a guitar, but a battered old mandolin. He strummed like a demon, backing Lopez. The crowd roared. Roses flew. Lopez winked at a waitress. "Undercover's still got it." P9 sat in the corner, head in his hands, itinerary ruined. "We're off schedule, off budget, off everything," he muttered. Impeach snatched the papers, poured whiskey over them, and set them on fire in an ashtray. "Schedule says raise hell. We're doing it." Midnight. Sessa reappeared with a napkin contract signed in shaky pen. "Boys, I bought us half an oyster bar." Aaron looked like he'd swallowed glass. "That's a failing business. Their debt ratio..." Frank waved him off. It could be worse. Could be Staten Island." Mikey planted himself at the craps table, every roll punctuated with a shout. "Hammer time!" Dice clattered, chips scattered, dealers ducked like grenades were going off. He lost big, won bigger, lost it again, but never stopped laughing. "Dice don't respect fear," he bellowed. Lopez spotted a dome camera blinking red. "We're on tape." Impeach grinned, marched straight to the security office. 10 minutes later, the feed glitched into static. "How'd you do it?" Aaron asked. "Simple," Impeach smirked. "Told him I was Homeland Casino Security. Who's gonna argue?" Willie ordered champagne like it was water, spraying bottles over the dance floor. "Charge it to the Pizzaverse," he shouted. P9 nearly fainted. "There's no Pizzaverse credit card." "Then make one," Willie barked, shoving a cork in his pocket like it was legal tender. The pit boss marched over, jaw tight, eyes mean. "Your friends are making a mess." Frank leaned in, sliding an envelope across the table smooth as butter. The pit boss opened it, eyes widened, lips curled. "Gentlemen," he said softly, "enjoy your stay." On the balcony overlooking the ocean, Lopez lit a cigarette, exhaling into the cold night. "These guys are fucking nuts," he muttered. Aaron adjusted his glasses. Statistically accurate. Below, Mikey hurled oyster shells at pigeons, laughing like a lunatic. By 3 a.m., the crew had a champagne tab longer than a CBS receipt, a duffel of chips, some legit, some not. One unconscious bouncer in the bathroom. They stumbled to the lobby, a trail of chaos behind them. Security followed, but nobody dared grab them. Engines roared, Escalades tearing out the lot. Security tried blocking the exit, but Mikey swung his duffel out the window, scattering cigars and brass knuckles across the pavement. Guards tripped, fell, swore. "Parting gifts," Mikey shouted. On the parkway, the cars sped like bats out of hell. Impeach raised his flask. "Gentlemen, we survived."
Brooklyn Bloodlines, Emily Palermo Winters. Emily Palermo grew up in a house full of noise. Her father, Frankie, was a king on the streets, her brother Nick was always fighting, and Bambi was fire wrapped in silk, already looking over her shoulder. Emily was the youngest, the quiet one. She used to sit on the stoop with her school books, trying to drown out the shouts from inside with the scratch of her pencil. The night Frankie got clipped, Emily was there. She saw Bambi cry for the first time, saw Nick's fists clench like he could punch the whole world for revenge. Emily swore to herself right then, "I won't be part of this. I'm gonna find something clean." She tried. College, non-profits, community work. She built herself a life out of books and sunlight, not shadows and back rooms. That's when she met Caden Winters. He was stiff, proper, everything her family wasn't. But he looked at her like she wasn't just Frankie Palermo's daughter, like she was Emily. She married him, thought she'd found her way out. But Brooklyn's gravity don't let go. When Winters got assigned to organized crime, his first case was the very blood she was born into. Emily sat at the dinner table watching her husband talk about taking down Goku D'Angelo, about closing the net on Nick Palermo. She smiled, nodded, cleared plates, then excused herself to the bathroom, where she gripped the sink until her knuckles went white. At night, when Winters fell asleep, she sat up in bed staring at the ceiling, hearing her sister's voice in her head. "We're Palermo's first. Don't ever forget that." Emily started slipping. A phone call here, a quiet warning there. She'd tell Nick not to go to certain meets, tell Bambi when the bureau was heating up. Little things, enough to buy them time, and every time she did it, she felt the walls closing tighter. She loves her husband, she bleeds for her family, and she knows one day she's gonna have to choose. Emily Palermo Winters ain't the loudest voice in the room. She ain't the one swinging hammers or making deals. But in Brooklyn, sometimes the quiet ones are the most dangerous. Brooklyn Bloodlines, Season 2, coming soon.
P9 flipped through his shredded itinerary. "We're banned from AC." Sessa howled like his wolfskin. "Worth every penny." Back at the clubhouse, the boys dumped their loot on the table. Chips, receipts, oyster shells, champagne corks. Aaron crunched numbers. "We lost thousands." Frank shrugged. We gained memories." Mikey lit another cigar. "Memories don't cash out, Frankie." "Neither do you," Frank shot back. Moral of the story? Don't bring 9 wise guys to Atlantic City unless you're looking to come back broke, banned, and half famous. But hey, at least you got a story worth telling. And that, paisans, is priceless. And don't forget, subscribe to the Pizzaverse. AC was just the warm-up. Vegas is next.